coming down. I never left it on the ground. I'm not coming down. I wanna go higher, higher, higher than this.
Hello, this is Rebecca Fleetwood Hession, host of the Badass Women's Council podcast, and I'm glad you're here. So today's episode is another example of great connections. So if you've been listening to the show, you heard Nina Klim's episode. She is the star of Bravo's latest TV show, Flipping Exes. And Nina talked authentically and courageously about her story. And one of the names that she mentioned several times was someone who helped her get her start was Dee Brown. And Dee went on to marry Tammy Brown and have a daughter, Lexie Brown. Actually, they had several children that Lexie's going to talk about today, but Lexie's on the show today. And Nina, when she introduced me to Lexie, said, "She's the first baby I ever held," which might not mean much to you. So let me introduce you to Lexie Brown in a way that you might recognize. So Lexie was the 9th overall pick in the 2018 WNBA draft. She played college basketball at the University of Maryland and Duke University. And she's currently a guard with the Minnesota Lynx. And we sat down to talk about what it's like to be in the stage of your career at just 24 years old, where you're really needing to make big decisions about what comes next. And it's a perfect example of how we can often look at other people's lives and think, oh, that must be easier, or she must have it all figured out. But here's a star in the WNBA who's also got some head trash and got some challenges and some things that she needs to work through reflection. She'll also talk to you a lot about what it means to be connected in the WNBA and what it means to connect with her fans. I think you're just going to love Lexie. Here we go. Hey, Lexie, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Super good. So we had a fun little scheduling snafu recently that landed us in the same room in Indianapolis.
I know. Perfect.
I love
it's
it
a
when
blessing.
that happens. It is a blessing.
I know. And it's like we were supposed to do this, over the computer?
Yeah. Which would not have been nearly as much fun.
Yeah, this is awesome. And I just happened to be in Indianapolis and I forgot that you lived in Indianapolis. And here we are.
I know you give me the schedule like, well, I'm in Indiana on this day. I'm like, yeah, me too. So what are you here for?
We have a game tomorrow night against Indiana Fever. So we flew in this morning, had practice, and now we're just hanging out and getting ready for our game tomorrow.
So in some ways, people here in Indianapolis, because I'm an Indianapolis girl, might think I'm fraternizing with the enemy today, right?
Yeah,
so you're going against our girls tomorrow.
Yeah. And we got them. We beat them last time we were here, so it's going to be a really good game for sure.
So you just came from practice?
Yes.
How'd it go?
It was good. I mean, practicing after flights are tough, but
you flew in and went straight to the gym?
Straight to the gym. And yeah, it was a little rough, but we made it through. We had to lock in mentally. It wasn't long. So we just had a really hard week of practice because we were one of the few teams that didn't play at all this week. So Saturday's our first game since All-Star break. So we worked really hard this week, and today was kind of a low key type of day, and now we're just chilling.
All right. And you were coming off of a nice little break in Miami, hanging out with some friends.
Yes. The beach, the sun, it was great.
You
Much needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you mentioned, you lock in mentally now,
yeah.
which is a big part of
Absolutely.
life, but specifically sports and athletics for sure.
We're, this is, I guess, technically the second half of our season, and we're, fighting for a playoff spot right now. And I think that, everyone just needed a little mental break. This season has been a grind for everybody. So I think we're just really excited to get back out there and, and finish the season strong.
Okay. So we need to highlight that, because one of the things that we talk about as high achieving women is you need a freaking break.
Yeah.
And you as a professional athlete, this is what you do. You need a break too.
Yeah.
Like that's big.
Yeah. And then as women basketball players, we very rarely get a break. So a lot of us play WNBA, which is May to September, October. And then we pack our bags and go straight overseas, right after the season ends, go over there from September to May. And then we're back in the WNBA, and it's just like continuous, like basketball.
Right.
And, we love it and it's fun. I mean, it's hard. So yeah, that little 4-day, 5-day All-Star break that we get, I saw everybody, kind of just having their chill time and, spending time with their family, going on vacations to Miami like me, and just having a good time.
And if you want to see pics of that, your Instagram is super fun.
Yes. I came back and all my teammates were like, did you take enough pictures when you were in Miami? I was like, yeah, I know y'all saw them. Can you like them, please? Jeez. Instead of making fun of me. Y'all knew I was going to have pictures. Y'all knew it.
Well, and that brings up a point that you and I talked about before we jumped on air, is that you are a little different than the stereotypical WNBA player.
Yeah.
Like, you're the girly girl.
Yeah. Girly girl. I got my pink nails and, my eyelashes, and all of our fans are always like, how do you play with those nails? Like, how do you play with those lashes? Do they come off? I'm like, no, they're extensions. So they're not going to come off.
I pay good money to make
Even
sure
though they did. I mean, when they obviously they fall off like over time, but I got hit in the face one game and I felt my lash. I had a clump in my finger, and I looked at my teammates and I was like, my lashes. And they're like, Lexie, really? We're in the middle of a game. Like,
lock in, Lexie,
so
get
mad.
it together.
So I literally the next day I called my girl Jazz, who does my lashes, and I was like, I need you now. And I went in there and she's like, holy crap, what happened? I can see where it fell. I said, I got hit.
Oh my gosh, that's
she's like,
hysterical.
oh, I cannot believe that. But yeah, so they make fun of me all the time, but it's all fun. Like, one of my teammates, Simone, calls me Beyonce,
Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
I'm not hating that.
It's fine.
But that's another good point for our listeners that we talk about a fair amount on this podcast, is that each of us has very unique gifts and talents, and that we can't lump things into a stereotypical look at things and compare each other. So you don't have any sense or need to be like everybody else. You're doing your own thing, and that's good with you and your teammates.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was the biggest tomboy ever until I was 14. And then, I don't know, a switch happened.
Because you met a boy, probably.
Maybe. Or I was I'm tired of being treated like a boy. So let me turn into a girl. I played video games, and all of a sudden I didn't know how to play video games anymore. And I'm like, is this what happens when you grow up? You
those hormones kick in and all kinds of crazy crap starts
my
happening.
Fingers stopped working on the controller. So I'm like, let me just put this down. And now all I can play is Mario Kart. So a little kid.
You lost all your skills.
Literally all of them. But I just grew up to be really girly, and my mom is she's kind of in the middle, and then my sisters are pretty girly. So, and then we have a little brother, and he's the best, but he's not girly. He was girly. We were a little concerned a little bit being around girls his whole life, but he's grown up to be.
He's come into his own now.
Because we were
because he probably met a girl too.
Probably multiple girls. He's a little ladies' man. I'm worried.
Well,
and he's a little sweetheart.
And
my mom would.
Well, he knows
kill
how to
him.
operate around girls because you all
he's
taught him well.
the best communicator. I'm you need to teach some of my friends that are grown how to communicate because they don't know how.
We could build an online class for him. Maybe.
Yeah,
I can help you with that.
He's the best communicator. He can talk to little babies. He can talk to toddlers, with grown people. It's so hilarious.
It's a gift.
Yeah, he's I miss him. I can't wait to see him.
Well, and that brings up another good point: is you are a family person.
Yeah.
So
Huge.
One of our common friends, Nina Clem, who's on the show as well, she introduced us. And one of the first things she said to me about you is her and her family, they're super close, and it's a part of who you are.
Yeah, and I remember having Christina just around when I was younger because her and my mom are best friends. And
you're the first baby she ever held in her life.
I remember because I didn't realize how much younger Christina was than my mom till later, because she was just always with my mom hanging out, and then I was with them, I was grown like them. My mom was you were one of our girlfriends when you were one. Aww. So it was watching her, grow up, and now she has her show and stuff.
Yeah, we're talking about, you call her Christina, and she's Nina Clem to all of us now that she's got her own Bravo TV show, Flippin' X's. Yes.
It's so cool, and I wish that I knew, because I wanted to be on it. Just make a little cameo.
Well, season 2.
Yeah.
Maybe we can both get
She tried to get my mom, and my mom's no. My mom does not do cameras, TV, and she's gorgeous, and nobody understands it, but
everybody's different.
Yeah.
So your family, you grew up with basketball around you.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my dad played professionally, and then my mom played in college, but we have no video evidence of that, Mom. Just pictures.
Picker, it didn't happen, Mom.
We don't have any video proof that you we're good. And I'm just playing. No, but
fun.
she knows like so much, and she's the one who like holds me accountable the most. And my dad just taught me all my skills, and he was one who was with me all the hours in the gym. And my mom would come in and sit, chill, leave, come back, we'd still be in there working. But everything that I've accomplished and everything that I've achieved, I couldn't have done it without them. And my dad really like built me from like the ground up, because when I first started, I was terrible. I was awful. And my dad was just like, "Are you sure you want to play
you were
this?"
just starting out. Well, how old were you?
I was 7 or 8, but like...
Okay, I don't know many 7 and 8-year-olds that are...
But even when I got to like 12, 13...
Oh, well, okay.
He was like... do you want to do something else? But I mean, that's where that work ethic kicked in.
And you wanted to do this. I think that's an
Yeah.
important thing for listeners to hear as well, is we've talked a little bit before. Your parents have done a really great job of honing on the interest and desires of each child individually.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like because they were basketball players, they
Right.
were creating another little generation of
Yeah,
you wanted to do
Yeah.
this. and it was
Everyone
a
is
part
like
of your life.
fallen into their own little thing, which has been really cool to see. Now everyone's older and everyone has like their own personalities and their own style. But it's funny because Lonnie and Lissa are my sisters, so they're the middle two, and then me and my brother are the outside two. So my parents call us the bookends,
Oh,
he
yeah.
said that we're like identical of each other. Like it's crazy. And I'm not around my brother all the time, but my dad has been with him for the last month, like traveling and doing AAU stuff. And my dad was like, "It's literally like watching you all over again."
Oh,
and
that's
it's so
fun.
funny because he's a boy, so it's so funny. But he's like, "You guys act the exact same, like even off the court." He's like, "You guys are so alike, it's crazy." And then Lonnie and Lissa are really alike. And I don't think they realize how alike they are,
Yeah.
but they like...
They don't want to think they're alike probably at this age.
But they're so similar, and they're so adorable, and everyone has like their own thing in our family, and it's like really cool, to see everyone branching out and doing their own thing for sure.
And that's got to be a tough spot, though, to be following, your mom and dad who have been great in this sport. And how has that felt like pressure for you to be great? How has that played positively and negatively?
Yeah,
I
mean, there's really like no pressure because, like I said earlier, being a girl, it's a little different. Like I get compared to my dad sometimes, but like not like how my brother probably is going to get compared to him. And I think the best thing is like the most positive thing that's come out of it is he just has so much experience and knowledge, and he just loves to share it with me and like everybody that he comes across. So I don't think there hasn't been anything really negative about, both of them being basketball players. The only thing negative I would say about my dad is just that he was traveling all the time, and like he's been gone a lot. And, him and my mom don't live in the same place right now because of his job. But she's holding it down in Atlanta while he's in LA, working. But he's in Atlanta right now, actually. Or he just left. So he goes, he leaves, then I go, he's not there. And then I go to LA in a couple weeks and he's in Atlanta. So like we always are like missing each other.
And that's another good point is, it's easy to glamorize, sports, professional sports especially. And there's a downside to it too, right? There's a cost in you're working hard and you're doing your thing, but you don't get to spend as much time together as you'd like
you're
to.
always on the move. And I wouldn't say it's like normal to me, but it's kind of normal to me because it's like how we grew up. So like people are like, how do you deal with like not seeing your parents like together all the time? I'm like, what do you mean? Like it's just
you're intentional about your relationship.
It's just what we do. It's how we do it. And we're like probably one of the most tight knit families, and people wouldn't even know that my dad lives on the other side of the country.
Well, and I always like to remind people that there is no normal.
Right.
Normal is a set of circumstances that someone has created for themselves to make themselves feel comfortable. But your normal is different than my normal. And so there really is no normal.
Yeah. So I couldn't imagine coming home like every day for my whole life and seeing like both of my parents like at the dinner table. Like if that happened, we would be like,
why are y'all here? Is something bad happened?
Even when my dad like is in town, my mom's like, "Don't you have something to like do?" Like
maybe that's the secret to your family's success.
So it's so funny because like I have like a lot of friends who just have their parents who like just they work, they come home, they like have dinner together, and I'm like, that's just never been something that we did. And that's like you said, everyone's normal is different. But yeah, if like family dinners and stuff like that, like it's an event, like if that happens.
And that's important because as a lot of our listeners are career moms, working moms, and there's mom guilt, like it's a thing, right? And so this idea that there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it is what really trips a lot of us up. And for you to even say that is so important for a mom to hear, like how you invest in loving your child is your individual relationship with that child. There's no standard. There's no like, this is right and wrong.
Yeah. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So like her pushing me to, go achieve my goal. She's like, don't worry, you're going to get married. Don't worry about it. You're going to have kids. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, Mom, like you got married at 22. You had me at 23. Like, what are you saying? She's like, she's like, I wish. I was like, you wish what? You wish you didn't have me? And she's like, no. That's not what I meant. But it's nice to have a mom that, was, holding it down, taking care of us while my dad was living out his dreams and stuff. And now she's pushing me to do the same. And, she's not, like you said, guilty me that where are my grandkids? Where are this? Where are that? Like, I don't hear any of that.
Well, yeah, you got a smidge of a minute to make all that happen. Yeah. But that brings up another point that we talked about earlier is you are at that stage of your career where you're starting to think about the future and how basketball either does or doesn't play into this, because you're saying to yourself, gosh, can I get married and have kids and do basketball?
Right.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard. Now I'm at this age, finally it's clicked. I'm like, okay, I'm 24. It is normal that people are getting married, Lex. It is normal that people are having kids. Like, you're not in college anymore. Yeah. So like when I first graduated and I'm seeing like people from middle school and stuff like getting married and having kids, I was like, what is going on? Like, why are people doing this? I'm like, because we're old. Like, see, that's why we're getting older.
It is weird when it happens. My son is 21 and a good friend of his, they've been friends since 7th grade.
Yeah.
Just, bought a house and he and his girlfriend are living together. And my son will come home and he'll say, do you know, like, Jack wants air freshener for Christmas to go in his new house. And we just like laugh. We're like, what is happening? What happened to Pokemon? And
exactly. Like I was in my best friend's wedding. I was a junior in college and she had graduated and she got married and I was one of her bridesmaids. And I was like,
what is
this
happening?
Is weird. And she just had a baby and I sent her a baby present and I'm like, this is crazy.
It's coming.
Yeah. So, it's hard to try and factor in, things like that. And I was having a conversation with somebody and he was basically like, women have it hard because like, you don't really have time to like, be like, oh, I'll just see, like, we'll see. But you have to like things like having kids and starting a family. Like you can't just
there's
be
an
like,
expiration date on that decision.
You can't just be like, okay, let me just go do it. Yeah. Like you have to plan out what your career is looking like. If you can take a break and have a kid. And then
because we talked about this too, that in basketball, it's not like you can say, hey, I'm going on a sabbatical.
Right.
Hold this spot on the team
and
for
honestly, how I feel about it with being an athlete is like, you kind of have to like make your mark for them to be okay with you going to have a baby.
Right.
So like Skylar, who plays for Dallas, she was probably one of the best players in the league at the time. And then she got pregnant and everyone was like, okay, congrats. Your spot will be here when you get back. But someone who's not as good as her and they go have a baby, like her spot might not be there when she gets back. So it's like, you have to put your career first for a little bit, carve out that time for yourself to go, fulfill some of your, I don't want to call them, I have always dreamed of having like a big family. Like I want to have daughters and little boy. I just want like a little squad. Like that's like, I really just want a little squad. Everyone's like, how many kids do you want? I'm like 4 or 5. And they're like, what? I'm like, well, I have 3 siblings. So like we have a little squad. So I want to have a little squad. And I hope that my sisters and brother have squads too, because I want them to have like
so you can all
these cousins.
Get together.
And yes, I want it all.
Yeah.
But do I have to start? Cause like my sister's 22. So like she's getting there to that age where she's like, do I want to like start looking for my husband, and do I want to have this job? Do I want to move here? Like she's like planning out her next like career move. Like she wants to move to Nashville, and I'm like, you can't leave and like go live by yourself. Like you're still my little sister. So she lives with my aunt right now in Orlando. So she's still like locked in with us in a way. But if she like moves away by herself, I'm like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be okay?
Well, this is so important that you're saying that you're having these conversations in your head and these challenges to think about what's next, because we all get in our own heads and we think it's just us that feels that way. And here you are, professional athlete. For most people looking at you would be like, dang, she's got it figured out. Look what she's done. She's killing it. She's amazing. And you are saying, okay, but what's next?
Yeah.
We all do that.
Yeah. And I feel like for women, like I said, it's harder because there's so many things that can impact your life, like just your life, but like being pregnant, like we keep going back to that. Mm-hmm. Like that's 8 months of your year.
9 probably.
9
ish. Well, I don't know.
That's why that's why I shouldn't have a kid. I don't even know how long you're pregnant.
No, it's fine.
But
God has them show up whenever it's time.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Like you have that, and then being an athlete now, how am I going to get back in shape? But take care of the baby.
And every girl thinks about how am I going to get back in shape. Yours is just for your career.
Yeah. And then some moms are just like, you know what? Just forget it. This is just what I'm going to be like from now on.
But this message is so important because all of us have these same fears, apprehensions, challenges, and they just manifest differently for each of our situations. But we're all, the more I think we talk about those things, the more comforting it is to think, oh, everybody is kind of challenged.
And I know everyone's going through their own things, and no one knows what the future is holding for them. Right. And if you did, then, share it with me, please, because I would love to know what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. That would be great to know. But, I think you just have to, trust God's timing. And that's what I'm doing. That's what my mom tells me. And she's like, stop looking at what everyone else is doing. Like,
she's a good mom.
Yeah,
that's what she's like,
you don't want a kid. I promise you don't want a kid right now. Like, you're finally hitting your stride in your career. Like, this is what you worked your whole life for. Like, don't worry about what's next right now.
Do you enjoy this moment? Because I think that's the thing that is for all of us, but especially for a professional athlete, is you've talked about, always wanting to get to the next level, always striving to be better. Are you finding those moments where you think, damn, I'm killing it?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying some stuff?
Yeah, there are like times where I'm just like, really, like, this is what little 10-year-old Lexie wanted to do when she was older, and I'm doing it. And then there's some days where I'm like, I hate this. I want to stop. Like, I want to quit. Like, there's always moments like that. But like the good moments are like so good. And then like, of course, make my parents proud. Like, they're so proud that like we made it to this level because we worked so hard. There's a lot of sacrifices that I made and they made, and even my siblings made a lot of sacrifices for me to get here. So, sometimes I just have to like, just remember how blessed I am to have like the support system I have. And, cause like you said, you don't do anything by yourself. And if you do, it's really difficult, and you don't have anybody to share the moment with. Yeah. So, it's nice to be able to share these moments with them.
Oh, I love that, because so often we are trying to get to the next place that we don't take that moment. Just
exactly.
I love that you said, and this is what 10-year-old Lexie was dreaming about.
Really? Yeah. And it was nice because, the WNBA was like still in its like infancy when I was younger, but I still had a WNBA to watch. Like, I have teammates that like didn't have a league that they looked up to.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So yeah, because the league is only 23 years old.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. So like, this was like literally like, I want to be in the WNBA, and I know my teammates were like, well, I just want to be in the NBA. But like,
so think about this. There's a 10-year-old Lexie somewhere right now.
Yes,
and
I hope
are her inspiration.
A little girly girl that loves basketball.
Yes.
Because I didn't see a lot of those when I was younger. So I'm hoping that this stereotype, it's not going to go anywhere. And like, there's nothing wrong with it, because there's so many amazing women in this league. But I feel like I guess I don't want to call it a stereotype, but like this girly basketball player, like, it's becoming like a thing. And I've seen it more and more, and I love it. And I hope that it like encourages more girls to, play basketball instead of like, cheerleading and like, we lose so many girls to volleyball.
No shade though, right? Go volleyball.
Yeah. I love volleyball, but I see so many of these tall girls, and I'm like, she probably plays volleyball.
and I hadn't thought about this either, but this is a real thing. So there is that stereotype, and you are one of the ones that are saying, no, you can be a girly girl in the WNBA, and it's all good. Yeah. And I hadn't thought about that aspect of it.
You can be beautiful, and you can show your style. And this year in particular, the WNBA has like done a really good job of showcasing everyone's like personal styles, which has been really cool to see, because like I said, there are like some amazing women in this league, and I feel like in the past, like, they haven't highlighted anybody but like the big names or like the stars or like the veterans that have been in the league. So like everybody knows. But now we're seeing like third-year players, first-year players, fourth-year players like getting highlighted, but like for their, you know, work in the community, like their style, you know, their kids, their families, how like them being moms. Like it's awesome. Like I love like the direction that the WNBA is going, and I hope that we continue this way because like we have a long way to go, but like the strides that we've made in the last like 2 years has been really great.
Oh, I love that because that's all about their story. It's not just about the stats.
And I think that
it's
they're
the story.
finally sharing stories, and like as women, like people have there's so many different walks of lives in this league, you know. We have moms, we have aunts, we have, you know, sisters, you know, people who like my teammate is studying to be she wants to like work in like funeral homes and stuff.
Gosh,
like she's like in class right now for that. Like that's her passion, and it's been her passion since she's been little. And I didn't know that because I'm new to this team, but like I had no idea that's what she had an interest in until I became her teammate. But like things like that should be shared. Like
absolutely, because at some point you are going to be done with basketball at some point. And that's another good point, that we all have these unique gifts and talents. And it's not that we just all of a sudden at a certain age know exactly what we're going to do for the rest of our lives. You take on different interests and things, and you explore different avenues. And
and I've learned so much about my teammates and, you know, players on other teams just through the way the WNBA has just like marketed us this season. And it's like, I'm like, oh, I really would like to get to know this player. I really want to get to know this player because like she seems cool. And I want to ask her about like how she's doing this and things like that. So it's like, it's been awesome to see. And I think the stereotype is it's not going to go away, but it's like, it's getting a little, it's definitely shifting.
We just had another guest, Katie Hargett, who she's been in the motorsports her whole life since she was 9 years old. And she raced, and then she was a pit reporter at the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, wow.
And she has started a foundation or a nonprofit that is called Fuel the Female. And she's bringing girls in from Indianapolis schools and showing them all the various careers that women have inside motorsports. And same thing, it's like awesome. Highlighting this story that it's more than just a couple of women drivers that have made it. There's lots of careers available for women that we need to showcase and tell those stories.
And this is like the time of like women empowerment. And I think this like voice that all these women have now, like I love it. And I feel like the WNBA has been one of the most like progressive leagues, you know, speaking up on social issues and things like that. Like my coach, she's like awesome. Like we had a meeting with a lot of, like doctors and just all these like badass women pretty much.
Nice.
Like we're just all in a room with them just talking. And my coach like had her little speech, and basically she was like this is like the time of the women, like, and men, you know, they're in power, you know, even some of these women in power. But she said companies that have women in the C-suites, like, do way better than businesses and companies
Return
that
on
don't.
shareholder value is higher.
And like, I'm like, what more do you need to see? Like,
Preach.
just the sexism in our country. Like, I don't understand it, because like there is proof that, you know, we can do everything that men can do. We can do some things better than men can do, but it's like, we're women. So they're like, no. But I feel like there's been so much growth in our country, in our sports. You know, you look at the women's soccer team, you know, I think they've been amazing. And, you know, all they had to do, I mean, winning the World Cup or whatever they just won is not easy. They made it look very easy, but it is not. And, you know, and no one can say anything to them, because they're pretty much like, what? We won. Like, we're the best team in the world. Like, what are you guys going to say? Like, you literally can't say anything.
And it is fun to watch that, because it's not just about winning, but it's the story behind it.
Right.
And you're a big part of that now for the next generation, that your story is going to be out there.
Yeah. And I just love seeing like the little girls, you know, just out there doing their thing, whether it's on the basketball court, just in life, just confidence. I just see like a new glow, you know, with the young girls and with women. Like, I just feel like everyone is glowing.
More confident.
Yes, for sure.
So besides family, when you reach out and you think about connection and those people that have been a part of your story and a part of supporting you in the ups and downs, because by the way, every profession has that. Like, some days are the best days and some days are the worst days, right? So besides family, now that you're getting into, you know, your adult years, are there certain people that you are leaning on and that other women that are you kind of banding together as
I mean, obviously I tell my mom everything. Like, she's my best friend. She's my therapist. She's everything. I have like a handful of like really, really close friends that I have that I met I have one best friend that I've known since middle school. Her name is Kylie, and she plays professionally too. But she's in Australia right now. And she's like doing her thing. She just started, she like is a solo traveler as well. So she's like managed to.
What does that mean?
So she goes on trips by herself.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So in, July? So in December, she found a team in Germany to play for, but it wasn't like a super intense team. So like she had like a lot of off days. So she would like just go get her stuff and like go to different countries. Like, and like she made like blogs and she just started a website, and it's basically like travel tips and how to plan birthdays, and like she's like fun. Like I hope that she like becomes like a party planner or something, an event planner, because she's so good at it. But
there's another example. Okay, so she's a WNBA player as well.
No,
right?
she's not the WNBA.
Oh,
but she plays overseas.
Okay, but here she is, a basketball player playing overseas, and also, by the way, she's a party planner.
Yeah.
And like
literally
that's a story
solo
that
traveler, blogger. Like she's like really like trying to get her thing going. And I'm so proud of her. And I was so afraid for her because she is like kind of one of those like one foot in. Like she's like a very careful person. Mm-hmm. So the fact that she like just got her stuff and moved to Germany.
Like doing her thing.
And I was like, you go, girl. And I wish, because when I was overseas, like I had practice like every day, and I was like, I went overseas thinking I was gonna have all this time to like go traveling, and I didn't. So I was like living vicariously through her. And so now she's in Australia. She went to like the Great Barrier Reef. Like she's like living her best life right now.
And that's so great that you can support her in that.
Yeah. And I'm so proud of her and like what she's doing. So she'll be back in the States, I think in like 2 weeks. And then I think she's like gonna just stay home for a little bit and go back to her next adventure. Yeah. And it's like been really nice to see. And so she's definitely my best friend, and we've been close since 13, 14 years old. We're on the same team together. And then the rest of my really good friends I met in college. And like, you really do meet like some of your best friends in college. And it's like, you go through like so much nonsense, and then you come out at the end and you're like, yes, we did it.
Because that's a part of your life that it's just a weird maturation time. You're trying to figure everything out.
It's so weird. But then like we're in real life and we're like, we don't like this. Can we go back to school? Like adulting sucks.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like, I have a friend who, she went to law school. Now she's practicing law. My other best friend I was telling you about, who got married, has a baby. So
your paths are very different.
Yeah. But we like all managed to stay in touch and, support each other from a distance. So it's like really nice to see everyone like growing up and, doing their thing and just still loving each other. And, but yeah, Kylie, I'm super proud of her because, she really like worked her butt off to, get all this together. And she takes like a tripod with her places, and she just like has her own photo shoots like in the middle of the street. I'm fun. Like, this is great.
But that's another important part of our lives everywhere you are, whether you're in sports or an entrepreneur or business, is to have people that have different lives than yours to give you different perspectives. Exactly. Right.
Like you can't be around someone who's just like you. No. One, that's boring. And like, you need to have someone that maybe challenges how you think, and maybe not challenge in like a negative way. But yeah, sometimes you do have to, change the way you think about things, and you don't want to be stuck in one way of thinking, because you don't grow that way. Yeah. So you want to be around people that inspire you and, encourage you to grow as like a person, and, of course, and be nice. Like I see so many people who are just not nice. I'm like, why?
And it's not that hard to be nice.
It's so easy to be nice.
Absolutely.
I'm like, why are you not a nice person?
Well, and when you reach out and build relationships with people that are completely different than you, I get so excited by that, by learning about different people's lives. And, and, I'm sure your friend that's, studying to be in law, her life is completely different than yours. And the challenges are different, and you're able to share in how that looks. Like that's big.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's always funny to know like where we met like there was a point where our lives were like pretty similar, and then all of a sudden everyone's lives are so different within a couple of years. So
and being able to support those differences,
right,
and cheering each other on.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about coming up in the future? I know you've got your challenges where you're thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. So that's one thing. But what are you most excited about as you think about the future?
I am excited. Well, I am going overseas to play in Israel. So I'm excited to go there.
When do you leave?
I don't know. I think either end of September or early October. So I'm like, I didn't think I was going to be excited to go back overseas, but I found like a team and a place where like I will have like a really good time and be able to like live my best life while playing basketball instead of feeling like I'm like in jail. Like that's how I felt last year in Hungary. Had a great time, but sometimes I felt like I was in prison. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm just really excited to see like how I grow as a person after having like, okay, so last summer, the last team I was on like was the worst. Like I was just so miserable, and I was like around people that I just felt like just didn't want me to succeed and just wasn't supportive, and like everything I did was wrong, and I'm like, I just don't fit in here. Yeah. So, you know, I had to come off a summer dealing with that and then go overseas and have the rest of the year like trying to get that off my shoulder. Now I had a summer that I'm like having a great time. I love my teammates. I love the team I'm on. The organization is amazing. The city's awesome. Now, how am I gonna like move forward from having a summer like this? Like, because I grew a lot as a person last year based on a lot of negative energy I had.
Yeah.
So now
that's where our biggest growth comes from. Is in the hard parts.
Right. Yeah. So now I want to see how I grow having all this positive energy coming with me. So I'm really excited to see that. And
that's another great point for people to realize is, again, here you are, you know, living your best life, but you have these challenges that you're growing and you're trying to figure out what the next season, literally and figuratively, looks like.
Exactly.
Right? We all have this, but we oftentimes, that little voice in our head, we think it's just us that are feeling that way. And everybody I've ever interviewed has said that thing where it's like, I'm just trying to figure out what's next. And
I mean, if everyone had everything figured out, then this world would be a better place, I'm sure.
I don't know, or maybe not.
Or it would be terrible.
I don't know. What do you want the listeners to know about WNBA? How can we best, other than just coming to the games and seeing and hearing the stories and supporting y'all, what else would you like to share with listeners?
I just would like for more people to not judge it from whatever first impression they get, whether it's good or bad. I think you need to dive in a little bit, get to like find a team. Find a team, pick a random team or pick a player and follow them, because I feel like our league in particular is the most like accessible. You know, we have like a lot of like girls who like love using social media, and they'll like talk to fans on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. And like, they're really hilarious and they're goofy, and, you know, they get in arguments with trolls on Twitter. Like, I'm guilty of doing that a couple times, but I feel like, I don't know what it is about us, but like, we just love feeling connected to our supporters because we know like we're in a fight right now for like support, for more money, for, you know, more respect. So the people that do support us and love us and, you know, come to our games and stuff, like we always want to show them how appreciative we are. So I feel like a lot of people don't know that about our league, because sometimes people are like, all you guys do is complain about money and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, we'll get past that.
I was going to say, and rightfully so.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, get past that and come check out a game, and you'll see a lot of personalities and you'll see a lot of fun. And even our fans and our supporters are like really awesome people. And like I said, like so accessible. Like you like I have like little girls like message me sometimes. I mean, it's a lot of like, I get a lot of messages, but sometimes I'll be like, okay, let me reply to this one. Yeah. And I know a lot of my friends like do the same thing. So it's like, I mean, I would just say like, just come to a game or turn a game on and, you know, just give it a chance. Cause I feel like a lot of people, women's sports, I would never watch women's sports, but like, you might be like, a lot of people that have come to our games are like pleasantly surprised. Our game, if you would like to follow a team, follow our team. Those are the links. And if you like to come to a game, come to a Lynx game, because our games are lit and people have like a really good time. And I've invited so many people that I've met in Minnesota to our games, and they're like, oh my God, that was so fun. I had no idea women's basketball games were like that, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you guys are so tough. You guys are fun to watch. So, I love like bringing new people, into our world.
And I would say, even if you're raising young girls, and even if they're not interested in basketball, just to see you and your stories and your courage and your heart and all of that would be inspiring for any young girl. You never know
like what a young girl is going to latch onto. Watching a game, watching you, how you interact with your teammates, how you interact with your coach, how you warm up, how you carry yourself on the court. It might stand out to one little girl, and you could change that one little girl's life, and that's all I would. If I could change one person's life for the better, it makes me feel good.
Amen.
For sure.
And just like I mentioned, Katie Hargett with Fuel the Female for Motorsports, she couldn't believe how many girls who live right in Indianapolis, where the Indianapolis 500, the greatest spectacle in racing, is right there. How many of them had never been to the track. And so now their eyes are open about possibilities that they had never experienced before. And the same thing can happen at a basketball game, right? Just because if your family's not into basketball, you should expose your kids to all of these things just to see what's out there. And what's possible.
There's so many like other things that you can get into, like from basketball. Like you can use basketball, don't let basketball use you. That's what my mom always tells me.
Oh, say that again.
Use basketball, don't let basketball use you.
Ooh, she's good
one, right?
Yes.
Thanks, Mom.
Yes.
But
hashtag thanks, Mom.
Yeah. So she, whether it's basketball, volleyball, motorsports, like anything, like you're not just confined to that one thing. Like there's so many people you can meet. You can travel, like meet your best friends, meet your husband, meet your wife. You never know. Meet all these people.
Got any candidates on that husband thing?
No, none.
Are we shopping?
Kind of.
What's your type?
I don't know.
Oh.
I thought I knew, but my mom's like, you don't know anything. She's like, you just keep dating the worst people. So.
Well, I think we all have those. That's what, to me, that's what the 20s are, is dating all the worst people.
Dating the worst people on this planet. And they all just come to my, in my face.
Well, let's not call them out tonight. But, let's not use any names here.
Never.
But, I think there is a little bit of the aspect that women have a little advanced maturation in their 20s, and it takes a little while for the guys to catch up and get on the same page. So just,
oh yeah,
take time.
I'm chilling, and I'm just really focused on basketball, and like I said, like what's next, and that's not just like family, like being a mom, getting married, all that stuff. There's like so many other things, because like basketball is gonna end one day, and I don't want to be stuck like.
Is there career aspirations that you have after basketball that you've thought
about?
I
would love to be a GM of a team.
Ooh.
Yeah. An NBA team obviously would be amazing, but WNBA team would be cool too. If we could get the WNBA like on the same page as the players all the time, I would love to like go work for the league. But like so many players opt to go work for the NBA for whatever reason. And I wish that more players would come work for the WNBA, help turn it around a little bit. Yeah. So maybe I could be one of the first that, can do that, but we'll see what happens. But right now I'm just focused on, being the best player and teammate that I can be for this team.
And you're doing a great job of it.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show.
No, thank you for having me.
I really, and I would say good luck tomorrow, but I feel like my Indianapolis loyalties, I have to be careful about how much I cheer you on tomorrow night.
Just golf claps. Or we snap. We do snaps in practice, so you can snap.
I can just snap.
People will be like, what is she snapping for? And you'll be like, don't worry about it.
I got it.
It's our secret.
All right. Well, let's stay in touch. And I really appreciate you being here today.
Of course. Thank you.
And I'm not coming down.
So I put a link in the show notes of a video I found the day of the 2018 WNBA draft. They sent Lexie a video message from her dad, Dee Brown, and it is just absolutely sweet and encompasses everything that you could feel from Lexie about how much family means to her. What a great role model she is, which is also a great reason that we should go out and support the WNBA and see strong women in action. I hope you'll take that as a call to action as a result of the episode today. And of course, I'll put the links to all of Lexie's social media in the show notes as well. And our reflection question for today: is there someone that you could be a role model for right now? Is there someone that as you look around in your circle, you think, yeah, I could do my part and reach out and extend that offer to someone in your circle? Thanks so much for being here. As always, if you need a coach or a keynote speaker, I'm your girl. Thanks so much. Make it a great day.
I'm not coming down. I never